يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Alhamdulillah. So in this module here, we're going to talk about how to break bad habits. Inshallah, we're going to break this module into two different parts. So first things first, habit change usually fails for two main reasons. Okay. Number one, we try to change the wrong thing, or number two, we try to change the habits the wrong way. Okay. So in this module, in the first part of the module, we're just going to focus on what we should be trying to change. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on the first failure, if you will, or the first reason of failure, which is trying to change the wrong thing. So what does this mean? They mentioned that there are three levels of change, and this is mentioned in the book Atomic Habits, that there are three different levels of change. There's outcome, process, and identity. Okay, so outcomes is what you get. So what it's about is results and achievements. So example, wanting to lose weight or wanting to publish a book. Okay. Now, you just focusing on changing the outcome is usually not going to lead to lasting change. Okay. What's more important to try to change is processes, which is what you do. Okay, I want to lose weight. What am I doing that is either aiding me in that or harming me in that? Right. So this is a more important level of change that someone needs to understand or decide. So these are the habits and the routines, the system that you have. So whether it's the gym routine or reading, for example. Okay, so the most habit building happens here. Okay, so this is a more important step than outcome. Yes, it's important that you change your outcome. I want to quit smoking. I want to lose weight. I want to quit pornography. I want to quit drugs, or whatever the case may be. This is very important. But what's more important for us at this level, because you're already sort of at this level if you're watching this, is the processes. Okay, what habit, routines, and systems are we going to have to create or change in order for you to stop smoking or stop whatever else you're doing that you want to change? That's detrimental for your iman and so on and so forth. Now, an even deeper level change, which is very important, is what you believe you are. Okay, your identity and how you view yourself. This is belief, self-image, values. Okay, and we talked at length about this in the pornography section, in the pornography course. For those who are taking that course or did take that course, we talked at length about changing your belief system when it comes to the actual behavior itself. Okay, but this can also be applied for those who are watching this from the smoking module. Okay, so this is where you have to make sure that you view yourself in a positive light. That I'm a disciplined person. I'm a Muslim who does not want to smoke and does not smoke. Right? As long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aids me, I can make this happen. Things of this nature, Yani. There's nothing hard or difficult for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do. Of course, that's not directly related to your identity, but it is related to your overall belief system, which will have an effect on the habits that you do and thus the outcomes that you have. So the point here is that your identity, how you view yourself, okay, is going to have an effect on the type of habits, routines, and systems you create for yourself, which are going to lead to certain results and achievements. So we want to make sure that when it comes to you stopping smoking or whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that you start with the belief, self-image, and values. Okay? That sinning is not something that is part of my identity. It's not something that I want to do. I'm not a smoker. It's a sin that I'm doing, but I don't want to be related to it anymore. I don't want to have it as part of my identity in more any way, shape, or form, which will lead you to changing certain habits, routines, systems, which will lead you to change of results and achievements. Okay. So all three matter, but the mistake is starting at the wrong level. Most people, they just start at the outcome, but you need to make sure that you're also covering the processes and the identity. Okay. So key question is, who do I want to become? Right? Your behavior reflects who you believe you are, consciously or not. The deeper behavior is tied to identity, the harder it is to change. So the deeper someone ties a behavior to his identity, the harder it's going to be for them to change. Right? So if someone sees themselves as, I'm a musician, it's going to be very difficult for that person to leave music. because they see themselves as a musician. That's part of their identity. That's how they identify themselves, right? So true behavior usually changes in identity. True behavior usually happens, or true behavior change usually happens with identity change. Okay, so motivation may start a habit, but identity is usually what's going to sustain it. Okay, so you need to look at yourself and say, who do I want to become? Do I really want to be someone who is a smoker, who smokes cigarettes, who's a vapor, or whatever, a shisha person, or whatever the case may be, and have that as part of my identity, that when people view me, they say, oh yeah, that's, he smokes or he vapes, or even more importantly, put people aside. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he looks at you, right? When the angels look at you. So you need to look at yourself in the mirror and really decide what type of person do I want to be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, and likewise for my family and those that are close to me. So to conclude this section, guys, the first part is habits and identity have a feedback loop. So your habits lead to a certain identity, but likewise your identity leads to certain habits. So it is sort of reciprocal, don't get me wrong here, right? So repeated behaviors reinforce who you believe you are. Right? If you repeatedly train and go to the gym, you repeatedly do a certain action, obviously you're going to view yourself in a specific light. But also, and more importantly to a certain extent, your self-image is also going to influence your actions. So if you view yourself as, I'm a Muslim, I don't smoke, right? That's going to lead you to change some of your habits, right? So this is the point here that we want to sort of highlight in the first part of how to change this habit of smoking or pornography is you do have to look at yourself in the mirror and really write down who do you want to become. And we talked about this at length for those who did the pornography course, like the course on how to leave and to quit that. But I do want to make sure that even for those that are watching from the other courses, more specifically the vaping and smoking course, that they also do this exercise of looking at themselves in the mirror and asking themselves, who do I want to be? And how this sin is not part of my identity, and it's not who I want to be, and it's not how I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see me, nor those that are close to me.
يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين